right, I'm going to kick us off here. Hi, I'm Rachel Newberry. If we have not met already, I'm the program director at RIoT, and I'm excited to chat today about the RIoT Accelerator Program. Certainly happy to answer folks' questions. If you have questions throughout, please drop them in the chat, and I'll do my best to address them in real time. But we'll also have plenty of time at the end to have some open discussion and ask and answer more questions. We are recording this session and it will be published on the RIoT YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. But in the meantime, please just keep yourself on mute so we can keep our audio really clean. And again, use that chat if you've got things to chime in with. Cool. So we're going to jump in today on an overview of our RIoT Accelerator program. How it works, who it's for, what you might expect in the program, and we'll certainly cover what it looks like to apply to the program and put together a compelling application. So I am going to get us started with a little bit of background first on RIoT as an overall organization. We do lots of startup support, but there are a number of other things that we do that are all ultimately focused on technology-based economic development. So really that means that the North Star for us is job creation, company growth, helping people to connect to emerging technology opportunities, whether they are in a large established corporation that is pursuing new innovations or a new product line, or if you're an entrepreneur who is just getting started on a business venture and need resources to point you to what your next steps might be. So our activities started back in 2014. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, again, with that kind of economic development mission. And we started as a meetup group focused on the Internet of Things. IoT at the time was the kind of emerging technology trend that folks were trying to wrap their heads around and understand what new business opportunities that IoT presented. And so we started getting folks together in the Research Triangle area of North Carolina to talk about IoT. That meetup group has snowballed into a number of different things today. We still are very much conveners and connectors at our core. So we run lots of meetup events, networking, tech education workshops, conferences, so on and so forth. And we also operate an industry consortium. So we've got a deep network of folks that are in the technology space, everyone from multinational corporations to local software development agencies, engineering services firms, a really diverse network that we operate. From the early days of acting as conveners and kind of cultivating this technology network, we started to meet entrepreneurs that needed support and did a lot of one-on-one mentoring. And in 2018, we were able to stand up a formal startup accelerator program, which is the RIoT Accelerator Program today. These numbers are even out of date already. So we're actually heading into our 21st cohort of this program. We've worked with nearly 200 startups through this program. And we run some other ancillary startup support programs as well. And then a couple other things to call out on this screen that I'll touch on a little bit later. We run a number of different sites that have kind of technology testbed assets. So there are, technical resources that people can get hands-on with if they're building new hardware companies, for example. And then we also do lots of tech evangelizing. So we have a podcast. We're active on social and, publishing articles and things around what's new and exciting in technology and how it's shaping industry. So lots of things to get engaged with in our broader ecosystem beyond just our Startup Accelerator program. This is a snapshot of our network. So this is the industry consortium that I mentioned. Again, deep and diverse network of partners. Of course, we work with folks beyond this network in our local ecosystem as well. So a big focus for us as we work with startups is helping them to just expand their professional networks. So whether you are looking for business partners, business advice, technology partners and advice, there are likely folks in our network that we can help to introduce and that can help you overcome the challenges that you're facing. Yeah, lots of awesome connections. And our network even expands beyond our formal industry consortium to a growing alumni base out of the RIoT Accelerator Program. So these are the nearly 200 companies we have supported since 2018, formally through our 12-week program. And so new entrepreneurs coming into our programs, they join this network that is deep and rich and have lots of kind of fellow entrepreneurial connections that they can make, folks that are in the trenches just like you are, building new companies that can help to commiserate and share their support and so on. We do convene our alumni network regularly as well. There's a program called the Founders Roundtable that we operate on a monthly basis that brings curated groups of CEOs together to help build that peer network and help these startups access continued advising. And then here's all the other folks that exist in our network. So we have somewhere north of 200 connections in our mentor network. These are folks that participate in the local startup ecosystems where we operate, that are business and technology professionals with great experience in various industries. And we tap on this network to work directly with the startups that we bring through our accelerator program, both in a dedicated fashion. So mentors that have a high fit with a startup that we are working with that can provide some consistent guidance throughout the program. And then we also oftentimes will make one-off introductions just as needs in our startup network come up that are a good fit with mentors that are in our database here. So again, just that big focus on expanding your professional network as you're building a new company. So I wanted to show the programmatic side of what RIoT does. We work in a number of different ways to support early stage technology ventures as they are growing. And we work both with a kind of portfolio of RIoT programs, as well as with partners where we support their efforts to help new businesses to start and grow, or research to commercialize, and so on. So on the RIoT side, we of course have the RIoT Accelerator Program, which we're here to talk about today. This is our cornerstone program and the most robust way that we support startups. And this is a 12-week program that's a really great fit for kind of pilot or growth stage companies. So if you have a minimum viable product or a prototype version of your solution, you might have some early customers or partners that you are piloting your new solution with. And those companies who are kind of on the precipice of truly going to market and starting to scale their sales efforts, that is a great fit for RAP. We also have programs like the Founders Roundtable that I mentioned that brings our alumni back together, as well as on the earlier stage end, a program that we call RIoT Foundations, which is a 6-week program that is for folks that just have a business idea and not much else. So they're really looking for how to get something launched, how to even validate that their idea is worth the spend of time, effort, and resources on. So it's focused on kind of market validation, basic business operations, the best practices of business owners, and helping folks to establish a good foundation that they can build a successful company on. On the partner side, these are just a few examples of how we work with partners. We are one of 5 organizations nationally that support DARPA with their research commercialization ventures. We work statewide with NC Innovation, which is a grant-giving organization that supports university research projects that are spinning out of the university system. And then we also work statewide in Virginia with the Virginia Innovation Partnership Corporation, and provide startup accelerators and other programs in Virginia as well. So yeah, lots of ways that we partner and run programs that ultimately support that job creation mission of helping entrepreneurs to get off the ground and grow long-term sustainable businesses. Okay, so these are the kind of technical assets that exist in our network. We have a number of testbed sites that support technology commercialization. One is very close to us. They are part of our same 501c3 nonprofit under a different name. So the Wireless Research Center is based out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, and they have state-of-the-art RF and antenna testing capabilities. Any hardware device that is being brought to market that needs to go through FCC certifications or other kinds of testing, our facility in Wake Forest can handle that. They also do some engineering services. So the WRC is a great resource. And then we have a couple of industry-specific initiatives. Up in Stafford, Virginia, there is a smart community testbed that is specifically tailored to ventures that are building smart city solutions that might sell into government. And they can test new solutions out of that testbed site. And then similarly in Wilson, North Carolina, we have a testbed focused on ag tech. So if you're in the agriculture industry, whether you're an entrepreneur who is building an ag tech solution, or you are an existing farming operation that is trying to leverage more technology, we have the resources out of that site to learn and test new technologies. We have some smart high tunnel facilities, a smart greenhouse, and that project is newly established and construction is finalizing in 2025. And we're looking for pilot partners to start to activate that facility. And that project was funded by the USDA. So lots of different technology assets across the Southeast, the region that we serve most closely. And again, these are technical resources where folks can get hands-on, can do the kind of feasibility testing that they need to start a new solution and do the testing necessary to bring it to market. All right, so on to the good stuff, RIoT Accelerator Program. So this is our 12-week high-touch program. Again, it's the most robust way that we support early stage ventures. And the RIoT Accelerator Program is really designed to support entrepreneurs and kind of give them the space to work on the business, not just in it. So as many of you know, I'm sure you wear many hats as you're starting a new business, and it can be easy to kind of caught up in the day-to-day tactics. But programs like this also provide the headspace and the resources to think strategically and think a little bit more long-term about the business and how to reach that long-term sustainability. So it's, focus time to look out into the future and to make sure that you've got a strong foundation for your operations, for how you serve customers, for how you execute sales, for your technical product and scaling. And so it can be a time to just really shore up everything in your business to be prepared for growth. We work mostly with ventures that have technology at their core. We, because of that early positioning around IoT, are very comfortable working with hardware companies. Many companies that we support have hardware somewhere in their tech stack, but we work a lot with really any kind of emerging technology. We work a lot with pure software companies as well. So we see a variety of technologies in this program, and we also support a very wide variety of industries. So anything from smart cities to manufacturing to ag tech to medical devices and healthcare, all sorts of industries partake in this program. And we create really diverse cohorts that ultimately, business is about first principles. And so our diverse cohorts find that they have a lot more in common than they do have differences, and they learn a lot from each other. So that's one of the things that we love about this program. Every week in this program, entrepreneurs participate in a couple of different activities. One, we have a educational component to this program where we host a weekly workshop session where we bring the full cohort together to take a deeper dive on a business and or technology topic. And then we also have a deep mentorship aspect to this program where every startup that we work with every week has 2 to 3 mentor meetings. So that's one standing one-on-one with the RIoT team. We get really hands-on with the companies that we support. And then with each company that comes through the program, we also work to match them with 2 additional mentors that can provide that consistent sounding board throughout the program. We try to make really highly tailored mentor matches based on what the company needs, what we think they need, the industry that they're moving into, the stage that they're at, and so on. And so we kind of get to know companies really well in the first couple of weeks of our program. And then we make those mentor matches to carry through the rest of the program. And then, of course, we have, this deep industry consortium, this broader network of connections, and are focused on just making introductions wherever we can so that companies can access the resources that they need, access the expertise that they need, and just expand that professional network of folks that they may not need tomorrow, but a few months down the road might be good connections for them. We operate cohorts of the RIoT Accelerator Program year-round. So today our schedule is roughly like a spring, summer, fall cohort. And we also operate these programs in North Carolina and in Virginia. We have a regional or a statewide approach wherever we go, where we're really focused on both supporting the region that we are operating in and welcoming fresh perspective, fresh ideas, fresh people into these regions. And so startups from all over the world can participate in our programs. For example, we ran a Wilson-based cohort this spring and had a company out of the Czech Republic join us. So no matter where you're based geographically, you're welcome to apply. But physically, our programs are in North Carolina and Virginia. Okay, so let's talk about what it looks like to apply. So I mentioned that through the RIoT Accelerator Program, we are typically supporting companies that are technology driven. So they have a tech-based solution at their core. Usually then these tech companies are scalable companies, and they might bring an early version of their product to market. And of course, technology iterates over time, but they can grow and scale based on a single product. We're industry agnostic. We're relatively stage agnostic, meaning that no matter if you just have an idea or you're at a growth stage, this program is a good fit for you. Our sweet spot, I would say, are those kind of go-to-market stage companies. So we're looking for folks that have done some market validation. They know their market well. They've identified their target customer. They have a prototype version of their product, so at least have a basis for the technology that they're building and have something that is at kind of a minimum viable level. And they are at a point where they are starting to work with early customers or work with a pilot partner to test the technology and further validate their market, or they're really ready to scale up their sales. So that tends to be a great fit for us. There are some edge cases, like for example, we also work with corporate innovation teams and government innovation teams. So we've had municipal governments put a team working on a smart city solution into the program. We've had a multinational corporation that was launching a new product line that kind of used our program to act like a startup for 12 weeks and really validate that was a good product to bring to market. So we're quite creative in who we can support, but in general, we really work well with tech companies that are at that go-to-market stage. That being said, we usually are working with companies that have a full-time committed founder. So team sizes on average are probably, 1 to 4 people. So these are small early stage startup teams. But usually the founder or co-founders are full-time on the venture and therefore able to like really commit to the program and put in the time necessary to get a lot out of the program. So yeah, that's a little bit about who we look for. And then what we look for in a compelling application are the following things here. So we're certainly looking for indicators of problem solution fit. So how much customer discovery and like real deep understanding of the market does this team have? Because we see so many different industries, we really appreciate when founders know their market and can educate us on their market. So, show some expertise there and show that they really understand the needs that are in the market and that they've done the kind of one-to-one connecting with potential customers and various stakeholders in their space to have a really fleshed out idea of what solutions are needed in the industry. We are looking certainly for a viable business case. So we work with lots of technology ventures, which sometimes means that people get really excited about the tech. That's great. We love our technical founders. But in an application, we care less about understanding kind of a deep dive of the technology and more about what is the business case? What is the business value proposition or outcome that your technology enables? And again, how can you show us that there's market pull for what you are doing, not that it's a technology push into the market, because that oftentimes is not successful over the long term. And then we're looking at the team, does the team have relevant experience and expertise? Why is this the right team to execute on this particular venture? Is the team, coachable is really one aspect that we look for a lot in our startup founders is, do they have a certain level of self-awareness and a willingness to learn and an adaptability that indicates that they will get a lot out of a program like this. Entrepreneurs who can really lean into the process of an accelerator program, who can listen to lots of different perspectives that they might get from mentors into their business, and can weigh that advice and synthesize it and act on it in healthy ways. Those are the kinds of characteristics I think of folks that not only build great businesses, but are really well suited for accelerator environments and tend to get a lot out of these programs. So we're looking at team, business case, proof points that you can point to that you're serving a real need in your market. But we're also not looking for you to be at a stage that you are not at. So if you are an idea stage company, it is totally fine to be completely honest and transparent about where your venture is at, what steps you've completed to date, and then what do you think are the next steps to further validate what you're working on. So that kind of transparency is appreciated because it helps us to really evaluate and understand how we might best support your venture. So again, like we see a range of stages. We're not expecting an idea stage company to be selling, but we do want to understand that, you know your market well, and you're going in with a kind of learning mentality. And then these kind of few bottom points here. You want to be thorough in kind of detailing your business and the market that you're serving. But be concise too. We're going through lots and lots of applications every round that we are selecting a cohort. So the companies that can really get to the point and be clear and kind of give necessary detail, that helps us to much more quickly understand what you're doing and where you're at and what you need. Bring in data where possible, of course. If you've conducted customer discovery or certain market research, helping us to again be educated on the industry that you're serving, and understand some of the data around your business, and being data driven. That's usually a great indication of a successful venture. And then relationships build credibility. Really what we mean by that is where you can show us that you have forged relevant connections in your industry, or you're working with relevant partners, or you're engaged in real relationships by name. That helps us to understand how kind of concrete and real your venture is. That helps to give you that credibility that you're authentically engaging in your market and you're forming relationships that are going to help you to launch and to grow. So yeah, our applications, we run through a portal called F6S, and the portal will prompt you to create a profile for your company that kind of gives basic information on your company. But then we have a separate application for the RIoT Accelerator Program that runs through a number of questions that we're looking for kind of paragraph form answers on. So it's not extremely intensive. It shouldn't take more than a couple of hours. But we do look for applications that are fully complete because it gives us the complete information to assess your business. So just pay attention to that. All right, so here's what's coming up for us. Our very next RIoT Accelerator cohort will take place this summer, 2025. It will be based out of Pittsboro, North Carolina. We're really excited to be working with the town of Pittsboro and with Perch Co-working Space to host this program. This is a new community for us. We're thrilled to be in the Sandhills region. And the program will take place from the first week of August through the last week of October. So 12-week program. Applications are due on July 7th, coming up here in a couple of weeks. And you can see the links to apply here. So these links will take you to our riot.org URL will take you to a little bit more information on the accelerator program, and you'll see the application button on our site. And like I said, that will direct you to the F6S platform where we host all of our applications. What else? So this program, it'll kick off the first week of August. Typically our orientation weeks are a little bit more time intensive. So we block off 2.5 days for orientation. And then from there on out, the weekly schedule for this program is 1/2 day a week in person in Pittsboro. So we're looking at Wednesday mornings where we'll host our workshop sessions, and then the mentor meeting, so the one-on-ones with us and mentors that we match to participating startups, that can happen virtually really easily. But we describe our program as about an 8-hour-a-week time commitment. Again, we're looking for founders that are full-time on the venture and then can carve out this time to do that work of working on the business, not just in it. So we'll be in Pittsboro coming up next. Looking a little bit further out, in the fall, we will host a Virginia-based program. And then spring of 2026, we will be back in Wilson, North Carolina, followed by a summer cohort that will take place in the Triangle region in North Carolina. So many opportunities to participate. We have application deadlines associated with every upcoming cohort. If you apply now and don't get in and apply later, that usually gives us a great kind of data point to assess your progress from now until then. It's very common for us to have repeat applications. So even if you don't feel like you're totally ready to apply, I would encourage it because it puts you on our radar and helps us think about, are there other resources we can connect in the near term? And then can we keep up with you over time to see when the right time to support you might be? So yeah, encourage applications, sooner rather than later. And we'll have multiple upcoming cohorts that could be a good fit. Maybe I will pause here and see if there are any questions that I can answer. And Jen just popped on the screen. So let me have Jen from the RIoT side introduce herself briefly as well.
Hi, everyone. As Rachel said, I'm Jen Morgan with the RIoT team. I'm the community director, which finds me coordinating our events and operations and general marketing and social media for the RIoT team.
Cool. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, any questions from the room that we can answer? Or Jen, if you have anything I left out, please chime in.
Hi, thank you for this presentation. My
Yeah,
name's Jared Denson. I was in Raleigh, Durham for a startup week about was it a month and a half ago,
yeah,
and I met with I forgot the gentleman's name, but everyone seemed to know him over there at the co-working
yeah.
space.
Probably Tom Snyder, our executive
That's
director.
that's right. Yep, Tom. Um, so just curious, I'm based in Atlanta, and so for this program, would I need to move full time to Pittsburgh during that period of time, or is it something I could travel in for? Because you said it's about an 8 hour a week commitment.
Yeah. So we've had lots of teams do both. So if you're out of region, we've had teams that have temporarily relocated for the 12-week program and kind of immerse themselves in the local ecosystem. And then we've had lots of teams that have traveled in and out weekly. The time commitment for this program will be, at least one half day per week in person in Pittsburgh. So yeah, every Wednesday we would bring the full cohort together. So that would be where we would want you to be in town, but how you manage things otherwise is totally up to you. But yes, this program does have an in-person component. Some other programs, for example, in Virginia, we have experimented with different formats where we do kind of more boot camp style. So we'll still have a 12-week program, but we'll bring folks together in person 3 to 4 times over the course of 12 weeks for more intensive sessions. So we'll do like a 2 to 3 day session each time. So it's more like a few business trips. So yeah, so we vary format a little bit, but typically there is an in-person component to all of our cohorts.
I just
Got it.
add, I just add, Rachel, that we, really encourage you to still apply. And if your application makes it through, the initial round of screening, we'd be happy to set up a call with you and really dive into like what that schedule would look like and how we could potentially work with you around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Chad.
And what about the 6 week program? Is that also an in-person program?
So it depends on the community that we're operating in. So the foundations program, yes, typically a 6-week program. Usually we run that kind of every other week. So you'll have a workshop session, and then the next week you'd have a one-on-one advising session, and so on. We've done both in person and virtual, so it depends on the cohort. But anytime we have an upcoming cohort, we'll make the requirement clear on our website.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll mention too that these 12-week programs, obviously we're working with folks that are running real businesses and have real business or personal commitments that come up. So we really just operate with like, keep an open line of communication with us. We fully understand where startup founders need to miss a week here and there if they have a conference to attend or a family obligation. So if we have advanced communication, we can work with little kind of gaps in participation like that. But we tend to advise folks that if they have other commitments or a geographical challenge that would make it such that they wouldn't be able to participate fully in the majority of the cohort, then it's likely not a good fit.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared. Yeah, other questions? Nobody wants. Oh,
I
yeah, go
got
ahead.
one more for you. So my company, we're uh, developing a new kind of sensor,
Yeah.
an RF sensor. And so um, what we're looking for is additional like RF expertise. So I mean, I saw you had like 200 or so companies in the network and such. So that is certainly something that through this program you'd be able to make at least some introductions depending on the need and things like that. Or do you have the engineering expertise in-house that could potentially contribute to work on this too?
Yeah. So both. So we do have engineering expertise within our organization, mostly on the WRC side of the house. And yeah, specifically they have deep RF and antenna expertise. And then we have a lot of folks in our network that that deal with yeah, new sensors or wireless technologies. We would certainly have folks to connect you with on that front.
All right, that sounds great.
Yeah, so yeah, some common kind of outcomes from the program that we see. Again, we're usually working with folks that are at that kind of go-to-market stage. So really common for us to see folks acquire new customers out of the program. We're very revenue-driven, growth focused. So our priority for companies is to help them find the quickest path to revenue and to acquire customers. So that's a common outcome. We also see a lot of folks that that raise money through the program. So non-dilutive and equity funding. We've got a lot of companies that go on to win NC IDEA grants. NC IDEA is a great private foundation here in North Carolina that supports early stage entrepreneurs. Companies will win SBIR or STTR grants. Those are federal programs that are really common, non-dilutive funding. And then lots of our companies do go on to raise some kind of equity capital, whether through angels or through kind of traditional VC. Fundraising is not a core focus of our program. Again, we really focus on revenue growth, but it's naturally a common topic for startups. And so we do help teams to think about what is the right timing for raising capital, if they should strategically think about raising capital, you know, what is the right positioning for fundraising, and what are the right kind of connections that they should start to cultivate now. So we do help with like the strategy around fundraising and the connections to folks in our network that that are you know, tied to either the non-dilutive funding sources or to VC. Yeah, and then teams will yes, start to grow their team and think about what future team growth looks like and connect to talent. And then certainly, you know, as Jared mentioned, like just connecting with technology expertise and potential partners, and yeah, just making those new connections that can help with whatever challenge you might be facing. That's certainly very common as well. Well, Jen, what am I missing? Anything we should add?
I don't think so. I think that we've covered a lot. You've covered it all. Yeah, we hope that everyone on here applies to the next cohort. Looking forward to reading your applications.
Yeah, please apply. Yeah, again, it's great for us to just get a better understanding of what you're working on and how we can help. So even if you're unsure or if it's early, it's great to be yeah, just in our network, and we can see where we can support. And then I'm happy to take, you know, one-on-one conversations with whoever. If you want to take a deeper dive or talk specifically about what you're working on, I am available. I'll drop my email here in the chat. You can reach me at rachel@riot.org. It's RACHAEL. And yeah, my primary role at RIoT, although we're a small team and a startup ourselves in a lot of ways, so we wear lots of different hats, but my primary work is startup support, interfacing directly with entrepreneurs, helping them get connected, helping them think through both kind of strategies and tactics around what you're working on. So yeah, I'd be the front door for any business owner at RIoT. So yeah, please reach out, and we thank you guys for your time this afternoon.
Rachel, just
Yeah, Andy.
a quick one. Hey, this is Andy Braun. Um, is there any reason to apply before the 7th? Like, do you read them as you get them, or?
Yeah, a little first look. We do We will read them as we get them just to get ahead of the work a little bit. There's no like explicit advantage to applying before the 7th because we'll evaluate the full pool at that point.
Okay.
Our next step though, beyond that, just by the way, for everyone is, so we'll review all applications received by the 7th. Our next step then would be to down select to a group of finalists, and we will conduct interviews with those finalists. Pretty quick, like 30-minute interview, can happen virtually. And so from there, we will select our cohort from that pool of finalists. We are aiming to conduct interviews mid to late July so that we can select our cohort by late July.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll say only on my end, if you submit before the 7th, I can definitely confirm with you if you have gotten, in advance, if you shoot me an email after you've hit complete. So otherwise I'm moving to the incomplete pile.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you do have any technical issues or questions with the F6S platform. Sometimes it can be a little strange.
It's always good to double check.
That's right. Yeah. Anthony, do you have any questions we can help with?
I came in late. Sorry.
All good.
I don't know if I apply. I'll look and see if I apply. I'm working on a number of startups, but I guess the most exciting thing is that an LLM now is low power and it's a 1.5 by 1.5 inch inference engine. So I just picked up 11 LLMs from China, M5 stack, the LLM 630CAX, and it's an offline LLM, and apparently this is going to revolutionize IoT and redefine it. So we're in for a one heck of a ride because every device now can talk and see and listen. And so that's a low power continuous operation. So I'm having a startup based around, well, I guess with no hyperbole intended, complete redefinition of what IoT is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, and that's too big. But if I didn't have the chips from China, I wouldn't believe it. It's the kind of thing you just cannot believe is possible. Because I thought NVIDIA was gonna. Anyway, so that's my startup. It's gonna be. I don't know what I should do. I think I should do something, and then maybe you just say, "Well, Tony, you don't fit, but whatever. This is more better for you." My wife works at UNC Charlotte, Department of Engineering, and I was thinking of maybe that's a better place for me.
Yeah,
Something like that. Like so.
Yeah,
Anyway.
certainly. I mean, yeah, whether you apply or just send us a note about what you're working on, what you're looking for, we're happy to help. But you're right that technology, particularly around AI, is changing at a crazy pace. So and IoT, we started our group around IoT, but we really don't even use that term anymore. We talk much more about kind of the data economy and everything that encompasses what we're seeing in the tech space today. So lots of really interesting changes ahead, which usually means lots of opportunity for entrepreneurs to get in on the fun. So that's cool.
There's never been a better time in the history of history.
Yeah.
To have a startup. I mean, this is it. If you don't do it now, you're kicking yourself.
Yeah, jump in. Yeah, glad you're playing around with some ideas.
Yeah, I'll type something up, and there's a lot going on. And then my wife works at UNC Charlotte, and so there's a lot of changes in higher ed due to certain things that I won't get into. But so there's also there's a downsizing, but in a downsize, you have to worry about economies of scale. So, like you heard that Duke University is laying off 10% across the board. Yeah, so that's going to affect the grants office. So the other startup idea I have is grants compliance using AI simulators to improve your leaner team, because now It used to be post-award and pre-award, and now I think they're going to have to merge roles. So there's a lot on compliance to the NIH. So the other thing I'm working on with her is this training module. So that's each one of the ideas. That's a very good idea. That's an AI play too, though, because it's an
Yeah.
AI that says, it gives you scenarios about funding. Actually, it's weird because it would review my RIoT application, and the exact product I'm writing would review applications. So that's but not for you guys, because you're not NIH and you're not governed by the rules of the NSF or NIH, but you may be aware of those rules, maybe not. So anyway, that's the other startup idea. So I have 2 applications I want to submit. Can I do
Cool.
that under one LLC, or do you want me to bundle it?
Jen, how would you suggest handling that in F Success?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know what? I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but Anthony, I will shoot you a message back. I believe that it would allow you to, I think you can apply twice under the same company name, but
All
if
right, so I'll just do ISD LLC, IoT LLM training
yeah,
company thingy, kind of scatterbrain,
yeah.
scatterbrain company,
And
But with
you know,
AI, I don't know. It seems like you can do 10%, 10 times more now and not be called, well, you're still going to be called a scatterbrain, but you can execute on 10x now. That's what I'm finding. Yeah,
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 no, it's a good point for sure.
yeah, and I think that really we'd be happy to just narrow down with you if, after we're reviewing applications, we can pivot in the program if we need to. So
sure, cool. All right.
All right, thank you guys so much. It's good to meet everybody, and please, yeah, reach out if we can help anyone.